Big points dropped by Manchester City today. 2 games running. That is 2 matches running that they take the lead. They fail to capitalize, and they have dropped 4 points in their last 2 games. That is 3 draws in their last 4 matches in all competitions. The only win coming against Watford, the Championship's Watford. And the manager said before this game, we are up for the war. We are up for the fight. Kicking off at Arsenal, kicking off at Mikel Arteta. But City certainly didn't look up for the fight today. Very good goal from Guardiola. Him and Jack Grealish, brilliant in it. But outside of a good shot from Silva late in the match, which forced a save, and a heading opportunity for Haaland, which was straight at Nick Pope. It was a poor game. It was a poor game for Manchester City. There is no doubt about it whatsoever. And yes, Haaland today, Man City today, have to stay humble. They have to stay humble. And of course, there's a long way to go this season. There's going to be many ups, many downs, many trials and tribulations. And City do have a very favorable run now coming up in the Premier League where they should be winning all of their games. However, and I will say this now, without Rodri's quality on the ball, physicality and presence in the middle, without KDB's creativity, they didn't look as dangerous or as potent a side today. They simply didn't. They simply didn't look like the Man City that we have seen absolutely destroy teams. And Foden had a volley opportunity, which again, straight at the keeper. There were some chances, but they were snapshots. They were half chances outside of the goal, which, by the way, from Guardiola was absolutely brilliant. They really, really struggled. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. And there's some big questions to ask on the show today. Why has Phil Foden been banished from the first team? Why is he not getting a start? He was meant to be he's the heir to KDB's throne. KDB's out and he isn't starting. And I thought that Jack Grealish had a very, very good game. City's best player today on the left-hand side. But why no Salvio? Why no Doku? Why not pace players that can beat an individual? Some big mistakes, I think, from Pep Guardiola in today's match. And I also want to say as well, I want to ask this question. Who's this Gundo-WHO? Who's this İlkay Gündoğan that they've signed? Who is he? Where'd they get him from? Who did the scouting? Who has done the due diligence on Gundo-WHO? Because this ain't the same man. This is not the same man. There's a great Angelina Jolie film, and I can't remember what it's called now. Let me search this. Angelina Jolie film about a missing son. What's it called? Changeling. Do you remember Changeling? Her character loses her son, and then they bring back this other boy that isn't her son, looks a bit like him, but it isn't her son. She knows it. This is not İlkay Gündoğan. He has been switched. This is a double. You know that people don't often think that Donald Trump's, when he was president, Donald Trump's wife, I don't know her name, wasn't really her. It was like a double. Same thing. They've got to pull on that hairline. This cannot be Gündoğan. Honestly, this man was such a top player. He looked positively pony in his performance today. And look, everybody knows, and I'll be honest about this, everyone knows what I think about Manchester City. I still think they're the best team in the world. I still have them, as of right now, as the favourites to win the English Premier League this year. But talking about this game in isolation, the Foden issues as well of not playing. And another big question as well is, what happens when Haaland doesn't score? Now, no Guardiola scored today. Okay, I'm going to say that at the beginning. But you can't be relying on your centre-back playing at left-back to score your goals. It's out, and also you can't rely on Haaland to score every game. Who else is scoring goals for this team? The amount of goals they've scored is very high, but the lion's share has been by Haaland. When he isn't scoring, who's doing it? Grealish ain't a scorer. Doku's not a scorer. Salvio's not a scorer. Gundogan used to be, but it doesn't look like the same man. Some big questions about who is going to score City's goals if Haaland doesn't. They can't be relying on defenders scoring goals. They can't be. No team has ever relied on defenders to be regular goal scorers for them, unless it's from set pieces. If it was set pieces, it's different. John Terry was a great goal scorer. Sergio Ramos. I remember Lescott had an amazing year or two scoring goals. Steve Bruce, very good goal scoring centre back. Open play is a different matter. Some big questions I think to ask. We have to. Super Chat here says, stay humble, Ivan Drago. Haaland, hit the like button. Yeah, they had to win today, City. I think City had to win today based on the way that City kind of have called out Arsenal this week, the stay humble comments, the manager saying we're going to war. They had to win. I thought they were going to do it. They came up short today. I would say the most worrying element for a City fan in this title race would be 2 games running they've taken the lead and failed to capitalize. They've looked defensively vulnerable. And by the way, all of their last 4 games, Watford had chances. And by the way, I will say, still troubles me that Watford had a goal disallowed for a shoulder barge. And then today you see Haaland get praised for his shoulder barge on Dan Burn, which, by the way, was brilliant. But they leaked chances, City. Inter Milan cut through them like a hot knife through. But I remember everyone said to me, oh, Terry, why when Arsenal don't concede, you say they look invincible, but when City got a clean sheet, you said they got lucky or they struggled? Well, because I saw them being run through. And then they got run through by Arsenal in the first half. They were losing 2-1. The red card changed it. Watford had an abundance of chances, championship team. And Newcastle today cut through them very regularly throughout the course of the match. And again, I'm not saying they're a rubbish team, but we're reviewing matches. And I think that is a problem. Gone, the leg's gone. I mean, look, it could just be one game. All right? It could just be one game that he looked like this. Let's wait and see. But he didn't look like the old man himself. Dark arts prevail. Erling, stay humble. Is what Eduardo has got to say here. I've got 2 new members today. X-Page and Dale both becoming members. Thank you very, very much indeed, the 2 of you. Joel Linton's foul was a penalty. Teams need to rough up Manchester City. I don't think it was a penalty, personally. I didn't think the referee had a good game today, though. And I'll tell you as to why. This works in both directions. Bruno Guimaraes and Gordon should have both been booked in the opening 4 minutes. High foot, cutting down on the ball, and then a slide tackle where he hits the man's shin. At the same time, I don't think Jack Grealish should have been sent off for the elbow, but he should have been booked. And then a few minutes later, he was kicking off again and picked up the booking. There's a number of delayed restarts by both teams today, no bookings. And I'm just calling out this notion of by the letter of the law nonsense from the PGMOL. But I think he got both penalty decisions right, and the one that City wanted at the end of the game where Joe Linton made the tackle. I don't think that one or Walker on Joe Linton were penalties, but Gordon's 110% was. 110%. It was very minimal contact, but he was running at speed. He tried to jump over. His foot caught him. It's a foul, and it's a penalty all day long. Ilkay Dundagon. Can't beat 10, can't beat 11. Give them 9 men is what Sky King says here. City have 1 clean sheet in the Prem. Again, I'm going to back myself again here. When I called out their vulnerability in this area versus Arsenal's, oh, you just love Arsenal. Arsenal terrorists. No, it's true. We can all see it. You're only trying to deflect and challenge and create like a little bit of an ad hominem attack to get away from having the conversation. And by the way, any City fan who decides to join the panel, we're bringing the panel out in a few seconds, you're being asked tough questions today about your club. And I'm going to do this today because City fans are the worst at it on this platform. Only the ones that come on the shows. Whenever you ask them a question about what did you get wrong today, who played poorly, did the manager get it right, they always want to talk about the other team or the trophies they've won. We're not having a debate about how great you are over the last 8 years. We're talking about today's game, what went wrong. So if they try to deflect, they're getting muted or kicked. I want to have a conversation about that today. And we're not doing no deflection tactics either. Funny how all the people talking about are Arsenal and City when Liverpool are the ones who can go top tonight. Yeah, Liverpool can. This is a great result for Liverpool and for Arsenal and anyone who considers their team in the title race, my friend. City not immortal anymore. They can be beat. Certainly, they can be beat with no Rodri and no KDB. No Rodri, no KDB. Of course, they can get beat. And this is where last year, when you had like Chelsea and Man United with mass injuries, although there was problems with their managers, you still have to factor in that there's injury concerns there as well. I mean, if City went and lost Haaland now, I mean this genuinely. If Touchwood doesn't happen, if Haaland was out for the rest of the season now as well, they'd be in the top 4 race, Man City. With the way they're currently playing, there's very few other players in the team that can score regularly. No Rodri and KDB in the middle. And it just shows even the best team in the world, you take 2 or 3 of your best players away for a prolonged period of time, and it levels the playing field. It's not a dig at City. It's the reality of football. You take Real Madrid's 3 best players away last season, they ain't winning the Champions League and La Liga at the same time. It wouldn't have happened, in my opinion. It rarely does. It rarely does. Where did 7 minutes come from? Zero idea. Do you know what's crazy about the 7 minutes? I would love to see Opta stats. People go and tweet Opta right now. Find out how many minutes the ball was in play compared to the Arsenal game. Go and do it. Just for a bubble. Let's see if it was more or less time. Got to call these things out. Game would have ended 1-0 if not for the pen. We don't ever know that. But it was a pen, and it was a penalty because they cut through City again. 100%. You mean you can't... I mean, if it wasn't for a good bit of skill by Jack Grealish, it would have ended 1-0 to Newcastle. We can all play that game. It's not the way the world works, me old mate. Rivals need to take advantage. Absolutely. This weekend, Villa, Arsenal, Liverpool, no excuses. All got to win. I think all got to try and win by a comfortable margin and put that pressure on City. For the Premier League, this is a good result. It really is. How many times does the ball move from the spot? Loads. No Rodri, no KDB, no creativity. Hamza, tears. And Arsenal are going to bottle it now. The pressure is on. We will see, Michael. And if they do, you will see me criticize them. They have no excuse to not win today, Arsenal. None. Walker again. Bernardo Silva, 3 bad games in a row. Foden has personal issues. Should have started Salvio. What are these personal issues? I've not heard about them. If they're public, let me know, because then you would only know if it's public, right? Mo and Strasbourg Steve are here with me now. So far, the City fans have not turned up. The City fans are not here. Mo, where are they?
They're hiding. I'm gonna start with a question that I don't know if it's only me or is everybody else notices. I know one of the super chatters actually had this. When Chelsea were 1-0 up and Newcastle were absolutely at the end of the first half putting Man City under pressure, and they had like a corner and everything, there was given 1 minute, and the corner, the second phase of the corner kick, the referee couldn't wait to whistle, right? Even though in the first half there was a goal and Jack Grealish was injured twice, rightfully or wrongfully, but they gave 1 minute. But when City, it was 1-1 and City are about to lose 2 points, they raised the board as 7 minutes and they continue while City trying to press Newcastle. Has anyone here noticed that? Like 1 minute, even though there were 2 injuries in the first half, right? Versus 7 minutes because City are losing 2 points and they're pressing. That's number one. Number two, I echo what you said, Terry. We said that you mark Haaland, most likely City are not going to be dangerous. And that proved today. The number 3 thing is that when we say that City, their attack is very, very good, but now there's KDB is not there, now it shows the creativity is not it doesn't exist, right? Vator is here. There is one more thing that I want to ask City fans. If you're the best player in the league last season, how do you within a couple of months turn into a super sub? Like how? There is no.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, no,
like how do you?
I agree with all these questions. Let's pose them to Vator first of all. What went wrong today, V? Another game you're leading, another game you drop points, another game where you lack spark, a lack of creativity, a lack of goal scorers, Foden on the bench. What's Pep getting wrong at the moment for you?
What's Pep getting wrong? First, let me say credit to Newcastle. Tough game as expected. The physicality in that game was definitely noted. Last season, we were only able to get a win when a KDB came on after injury and was spectacular with a pass to Oscar Bob. So we missed that brilliance today. Newcastle have fought us hard before, so it's no surprise that going back, it was it was going to be this type of game. What Pep got wrong, I mean, we're missing some quality in that midfield. We're missing Rodri. We're missing, obviously, KDB. But when it comes down to Foden and this question of him being the best player of last season, absolutely he was. This season, he's had some things to deal with, and obviously he hasn't come back fully healthy and things to manage, whether it's on the pitch, off the pitch. And he hasn't crumbled. I think he's just trying to find his stride. They defended well. They attacked well. They were very good. Newcastle were very good. If Pep needs to do anything, is to find out what is going to be the system without a Rodri. Because Kovacic, as great as he is, cannot play that role by himself. And when it requires another player in partnership, that changes how we are in terms of space on that midfield. So I'm giving credit to Newcastle. I think we're probably seeing what this league is going to be all about with regards to how close it is. There's no more hiding. There's no Arsenal saying City are favorites. There's no Liverpool saying we're not in this title chase. This title for this season is going to expect all those three clubs and possibly Chelsea to be going after it. I'm giving credit to Newcastle today.
Can I ask you a question, Visit? Do you think Foden gets the same treatment as the Sakas and the Odegaards and the rest of the players and Mohamed Salah? Like, if Saka is getting dropped by Arteta for the first 6 games of the season, coming off the bench, do you think Foden is being protected? Like, be honest about this.
I'm being honest, Mo. It's not a being dropped. Foden's form Foden not playing is not because he doesn't have the form. Foden came into the season with some injury, so the fact that he isn't playing, Pep knows when he's right, he's going to be on that pitch. I don't think Foden is quote unquote protected.
But Saka played with a lot of injuries before, and he played 90 minutes, put in numbers, and no protection for him.
The thing is, sorry, V, let me jump in here. The thing is, I understand what he's doing with Foden to a degree. It's didn't really have a preseason, played a lot of football in the summer. He's being rested. The problem is, he was your best player last year outside of Rodri, and it is barring a fairly fortuitous win against Watford because they had a goal disallowed. They shouldn't have had disallowed. You guys have struggled in your last 3 games to win matches. He needs to come onto the football pitch. But before that, I want to pull you up on something.
But let me answer.
Hang on, you're giving credit to Newcastle. I don't want to let this slide. I get you're giving credit to Newcastle. They did defend well today. They did, and Newcastle gave you a good game. But this is your 3rd draw in 3 matches. It can't just be each time credit to X, credit to Y, credit to Z. Surely, it's both Salvio and Doku starting the game on the bench today. Silva dropping another stinker. Why has he not been dropped? Where are the questions around who's going to score your goals when Haaland can't? Surely, as City fans, you should be asking these questions.
Well, when you say that, I saw opportunities where Grealish having started actually created a lot for us. I saw Silva playing that role right today was with regards to holding possession, was with regards to playing with a level of toughness, which I think Pep might have questioned of a Savinho early in this league with the physicality of a Newcastle. So I'm saying that because when we have questions on who's going to score, it's a matter of seeing it. We know that we can score by committee. We've done it before. So the fact that we're not seeing it right now, more time needs to be played out. And again, this whole giving credit, it's rightfully so. Terry, listen, Newcastle away was tough. We barely got a win last season. They play us very well. We had a difficult game last season, and that was with a KDB and a Rodri. I'm giving credit to Newcastle also with the fact that we have a back-to-back draw when it comes down to the quality of teams, Terry. Come on, man. Arsenal, you tell me all the time, and I believe you. They're scary. The fact that we had a draw against them, credit to Arsenal, and before that, playing in Champions League, Mo's right there. Mo would tell you they're winning the league. Syria is a quality Inter. So when we have those draws,
V, do you know what it is, right? We know that they're good. We know they're good teams, and you're right to give them credit in certain areas. The one thing that frustrates me with a lot of you City fans that come on is when you have poor games and poor results. There is never criticism for constructive criticism for individuals. Today, Edison should be criticized. Today, Kyle Walker should be criticized. Playing Gordon onside, wasn't in line, led to the penalty as an example. all I ever hear from City fans is we're so brilliant because we keep high standards. But when your team plays badly and things go wrong, you just either want to say we were robbed, or you want to say credit to the other team. We didn't really do anything wrong today. We were brilliant. We were brilliant. Our opponents were just slightly better or better than us. And I think you're being disingenuous. You know there are things that are wrong right now. Why won't you call them out?
Terry, if you want me to provide some criticism to the players or to the manager, I can do that. When you phrase it as what went wrong, that's where I have to point out the two teams are playing here, so it's not necessarily of something going wrong about credit with regards to the opposition across the pitch. So let me say this: Walker, I think, had a good game. I know he cost us the goal in terms of not being fully aligned with. You can stay in the car. You can stay in the car. Not being fully in line with the defensive, but in terms of the overall game, I thought he played well. Silva out on that wing, he's not going to provide us with what we normally see from a Savinho or even a Doku on that side. So if I'm going to be critical, sorry, so walk faster. If I'm going to be critical of, I'm taking my daughter to ballet. If I'm going to be critical of the,
mate, I know the feeling.
Yeah. If I'm going to be critical of the players on that pitch, I think Pep's got to figure out who is going to play with the bravery and the necessarily ball possession and control of a Rodri. And I honestly don't know who it is. I don't know who's going to do that.
On that, I mean, I said it earlier. Who the hell was that İlkay Gündoğan you signed today? Because that is not the guy. That is not Silky Ilky. He looked awful.
But also, I think Pep is
protecting
today, some players, to be honest. I think, to be honest with you, in the beginning of the season, just to be honest, in the beginning of the season, Man City looked more electric, more direct with Savinho, with Doku. And this rotation thing, I know that Jack Grealish created the goal today. But at some times, we looked when Foden came on, when Savinho came on, when Doku came on, they looked more direct. They are more direct players. Sometimes with Bernardo, with Jack Grealish, with the rest of them, it is too slow. It's very slow, to be honest, for Man City. They need more dribbling. They need more for the players to be more direct. Gundogan, to be honest, I didn't think that he's going to be like this. The drop is massive. He literally can't control his feet now in terms of running, controlling the ball. He's too slow. Maybe that's not the same Gundogan as Terry said. Foden needs to come in and step up. Forget this protection thing. He's injured. He does things. Big players and best players on the pitch. Best players in the Premier League don't get protected. You step up when your team needs you. You don't sit on the bench. Don't do this rotation thing, rotation that. Phil Foden needs to hold some responsibility here, right? Because Man City need him, right? Man City need him.
I need to.
You are muted. I'm sorry.
I need to stop you on this one. No. I got to stop you on this one.
No. Let me finish. Let me finish, please. Thing about it is that I need the same treatment for every single player in the Premier League. When people call out the superstars, and Phil Foden is not a young player anymore. People say he's a superstar. You won player of the year. I'm not going to do this deflection on Pep. Pep is doing this for him. Pep is doing that for him. I don't care what Pep is doing. I'm looking at this Manchester City team. The best player in the Premier League is being sit on the bench while City are struggling for creation. I am literally going to look at him. I'm not looking at Pep.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Let me give you some context, though, because this is what sometimes
there's no context you can give.
No, of course, there's no context I can give you. So let me speak to Terry then. The point with regards to what's happening right now is look at who's injured. Look at the fact that we're playing without KDB and Rodri, and we also don't have Oscar Bob. If Pep is going to rush a player on that pitch and it actually extends his recovery and it sets him back, then we're screwed. So I understand the mentality in terms of, yes, I got to bring him along so that I know I have him available when I'm already missing two quality players that are no longer at the squad. So this is the context of a manager that's not just coaching and giving instructions, but managing a squad. So I understand that as a City fan. I get that doesn't matter. I just want to see this player. That's you. But if I'm trying to win a FIP with the injuries I have right now, I need to make sure I bring this player along and he's healthy and ready to go for a full 90. That's my point.
But at the same time, Vader,
Go ahead.
at the same time, though, I hear you with your injuries. They're big to you team. At the same time, though, Vader, we're missing Isak. We've been missing Botman, our best center back. We've been missing him for
Is your manager rushing them to the pitch though? This is the point I'm making to Mo.
Isak had a broken toe. He can't play football. This is what people need to understand.
And Botman's been out with an ACL.
I play football.
I'm not calling out any. I'm not saying that we deserved. We should have a pity party or anything like that. I'm just telling you how my manager is managing injuries with who's missing. And I think, Steve, you would agree. If you already have injuries to some key players, if you see a knock on Gordon, are you going to rush him? Sometimes you have to. Go ahead.
It depends, though, because our squad depth and yours are two different worlds, bro. Our squad depth is when Tonali's on a yellow and he's kind of tiring out in the game. Our bench is Longstaff on for Tonali. They're worlds apart. Your bench, the drop-off is nowhere near as severe. Like Rodri to Kovacic is a downgrade, but still a very good player. That's what I would say.
This is what a load of waffle, Vator, to be honest with you. Didn't Foden play 90 minutes against Watford? That, by the way, if players are injured, they don't play 90 minutes. He literally played 90 minutes.
Yeah,
that means he's fit. That doesn't make any sense.
This is the problem here with this conversation. I know my Wi-Fi is bugging out, but the problem is with this conversation is what we are looking for. Again, we're not even trying to catch City fans out. I think what we're looking for is some honesty. When anybody else's teams play badly or get bad results, you hear, I like this, I didn't like that. Oh, he had a bad game today. Pep's really got to fix this. I don't like what we're doing here. With City fans, there always seems to be excuses, and I wish the other team were really good today. And I don't know. For me, we don't, and maybe it annoys us because we don't even see it from the media. City could draw their next 3 games, and they still won't criticize City for anything. And it's weird to me that every other team in the world, other teams can win and get positive results, and the media spend a week criticizing them. City, no matter what they do wrong, everybody leaves them alone. I just find it really interesting. I really, really do. From your point of view today, Strasbourg, Steve, as a Newcastle fan, what's your thoughts, mate?
Yeah, best performance of the season. And I feel better about Newcastle compared to any of our other results this season, even if we won. Like, we played better today in all 3 phases of the game than the Spurs game, even though we won against Tottenham. So, like, yeah, I mean, the defending was very, very good, considering our personnel out there. I thought Trippier, he doesn't have that X factor anymore, like that dangerous cross or that whatever, but like he's still very solid veteran option there at right back. I thought he did well. I thought man of the match, so I have to give it to probably Joe Ellington. I thought he was everywhere. I thought he was maybe a little bit lucky because he got the yellow card, and then I think it was like 20 minutes before the end of the game. I thought he managed himself pretty well. But yeah, I thought Joe Ellington was a standout. Yeah. Gordon, that goal, he needed that. This has been poor this season, but I felt like after the penalty, which he done very well to win on Ederson, I thought he grew into the game and was pressing like an animal. Like he looks back to somewhat of his best, but yeah, very, very encouraged. I mean, Pope, that save at the end of Bernardo Silva, as much as we're saying Silva had a very poor game by his standards, that shot at the end, the chest, and then the shot, it was a great save from Pope at the end.
Can I ask you something before Terry does the super chat? I know Terry has it. Do you think that Joao Linton thing and Kyle Walker tackle that didn't touch the ball and played the player, do you think that if it was the other way, it would have been given as a penalty?
Yeah. I'm not sure, because I'm not convinced that it was a penalty.
I'm going to ask the chat this. The other way around, people in the chat, the other way around, a player from Newcastle is not playing the ball, going for the body and the leg of a Man City player. Is this going to be given a penalty? And then I'm going to tell you what is going to happen. Let me tell you what was going to happen. Let me tell you guys what was going to happen. The penalty was going to be given, and then we go to the VAR to see if it's clear and obvious.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm being honest here because that happens in a lot of leagues. It happens for Real Madrid in La Liga. The referees, they give the call in favor, and then we see, is it clear and obvious error from my side or not? While the other way around is like, I'm not going to give the call
I
and
agree,
I'm
Mo.
waiting for the VAR.
Mo,
to
I
correct me.
agree. I don't think it's a penalty. However, I think City get it. I think, by the way, I think Liverpool get it. I think Real Madrid get it. Certain teams, Newcastle, don't get that penalty that late after already getting one against Manchester City. I don't think it was a penalty, but it's the type of penalty that I think City at this particular time get. I want to go to a couple of comments that have come in here because I want to sort of call this out. About the criticism, Terrier's credit in the bank. Again, I'm not asking any pundits or media outlets to attack City as an organization or to discredit anything they've achieved. Best team in the world still. But these are full fan highlights. These are match reactions to what we have just seen. And in the isolation of a singular game, you can criticize anyone from the best manager in the world ever to the worst manager ever. You don't get a pass on individual games because of credit in the bank. What you get a pass on is making someone saying, do you know what? They've drawn 3 of the last 4 games. Pep's overrated, isn't he? That is what you've got credit in the bank guard you against. What it doesn't guard you against is the fact that I think Pep's got it wrong. He hasn't found a solution yet, and I understand it's early for the Rodri situation. Not starting, I think you need speed in the Premier League, and having Silva one side and Grealish the other just isn't working. He has to have Doku or Salvio on the football pitch. And for me, I don't know why Foden isn't playing. I think it's wrong. I think he's a very good player. And he does do this, though, Pep. And look, he wins. So in terms of winning, you can't really question it. But when we speak about the individual player, is Foden ever going to be the main guy at City? Why Pep said there's a question mark over it because KDB's now out. And he still isn't starting these games where you'd think by now if he was at any other club in the Premier League, this man, unless he's injured, is starting every single game. Yeah. Some super chats to do here. First one says, if Foden isn't fit, why has he played in the last 3 games? End of the day, players having bad games, just call it out. I think that's absolutely fair. Foden's not trusted by Pep. Pep doesn't rate him. I think Pep rates him, but maybe the trust thing. Nice to see these arrogant City fans rattled. They've been rattled all week, haven't they?
Vader's not arrogant. Come on.
No, Vader's not, by the way, just in general. But Terry, I was sad you weren't there to give your opinion on our Europa game. I'd like to hear your thoughts when possible. We'll hear tomorrow. We'll speak about it more tomorrow. Do you know what it was? I've had a really busy week. You're all going to understand why soon. And I asked KJ to cover me because I wanted a night off. And yeah, I watched the game though. Vater is this is from a City fan. Vater is waffling. Pep got it wrong, not playing Foden. He set out to control the game with 11, and we didn't control. Pep stinker today. And I think that's fair. And I think it's really honest today. He got it wrong. City have a 53 million Nunez on the bench, but crying for a midfielder. Any other team is getting roasted for poor recruitment. 2 midfielders in Phillips and Nunez recruited for your midfield. And do you know what? O'Malley's spot on here. And this is what I mean. Credit in the bank for City. They get a lot of credit for what they do well. But they have bought and spent big money on 2 midfielders for the Rodri. The reason they don't have a Rodri replacement is because of the club they've messed up by in spending over £100 million on 2 replacements. But yet they're the only club who don't get criticised for it. I find it weird. And again, criticism, you can criticize an isolated issue without making overarching statements. You're spot on. City players are burned out. They are beating players left, right, and center. 3 seasons straight now. They are struggling to beat players with ease like they used to. Could be a bit of that. Man like Bash, long time no see. Big Inter fan. Says City fans still rattled, hiding the fact they are weaker now. About 7 minutes from the 6 subs in the second half. None in the first. As we know, the rest put 30 seconds as per the rules on each sub. However, not if they're at the same time. So that's every time there's a substitution being made. And like Newcastle made 3 subs, but they were all made at the same time. So it's just 30 seconds you add on for that. So not 30 seconds per sub because they pretty much come on at the same time. Rico Lewis won a raffle. Yeah, Rico Lewis, again, he's been very good. He was poor today, I thought, Mo.
Yeah, Rico Lewis was not great. Here's the problem about this is like sometimes when you play for Manchester City, you're a good player. But when the team is struggling, that the young players just don't show the quality because he's a good player. But again, he was like they have great players. The problem is they overrate some of these players. He needs to wait, Rico Lewis, until being amazing and being like, to be able to be put under pressure against a very physical Newcastle team. It is tough. He's not a bad player, but again, there is too much pressure on the young kid in these title races, in these games. And maybe they need to have, the more experienced players need to really, really like take it under pressure instead of putting on a kid or something. Kyle Walker today. Give me a break. Give me a break.
I agree. I can guarantee that Terry didn't touch wood when he said if Haaland. No, I did. I absolutely did. The one thing I would think that all people know about me is I don't wish injury on anybody. So Pep recruited poorly. What about the game? Well, Pep didn't recruit poorly. City's recruitment is done by an external team, which they get praised for. In terms of this individual game, I think we've already called it out. I think that Salvio should have started on the right-hand side. Foden should have been in the team to begin with. And I think defensively, they're just not getting back into position as quick as they used to, which is why I think they're so susceptible to these counters.
This would have been I was just going to say, Rob, this would have been a great game to have an Isak or even a Callum Wilson.
Oh, if you had Isak, you win. If you had Isak, you win today. I think you win the game with an Isak today. There was 2 or 3 chances that were in the second half. One where Murphy put the ball across, nobody was there. Yeah. There was others where Isak would have just had better positioning.
Or even Wilson, but we know.
I get that. Watch City fans deflect and blame Newcastle or praise him. Did Walker tackle Joe Linton in the box? Yeah, it weren't a penalty. It weren't a penalty for me. It weren't a penalty.
Go watch the game.
Although I thought Joe Linton was really good up until the dying moments of the game, and he gave it away 3 times.
The end of the first half. The end of that first half was our best chance as well, where he had that touch rate.
Great shot. Yeah. You guys saying Newcastle went at it. Yeah, they did, but so did Arsenal before the 10 men. Absolutely. And if Newcastle went down to 10 men, they'd have sat back and defended exactly the same. Yeah, exactly. I did find it funny as well. The Newcastle fans jeering City every time they were taking ages taking goal kicks. It was funny. Pep got it wrong. No creativity and took too long to change it. Bernardo on the right wing saga is over. Gundo, stinker and hooked. Foden must start. Get Walker out, as what's been said here. VAR did us dirty. Just watch the penalty again. Do you think it was a penalty that you conceded? Do you agree with the decision, V?
No, I didn't think it was a penalty in real time. Like Mo's saying, go back and watch it. I'll go back and watch it and see what it looks like in slow-mo and frame by frame. But in real time, no, I thought it was just
no. We're talking about the Gordon thing. The
Ederson.
Oh no. That's modern day football. That's what players do now. Yeah? They don't go to shoot. They go to try to get past the keeper and try to make some contact. And he played it well. He sold it. I think it was. He made sure to drag his feet, similar to what Mo complains about with Grealish. But I think he did his thing, won the penalty.
Yep, I get you on that. But good point here by Jay as well. Newcastle had no Isak or Botman missing. Exactly. Somebody else. So this is the thing with injuries. Everyone has them. Absolutely, they do. The only place you can go from being on the top is down. It's only a matter of time before City aren't a perfect machine. Nothing lasts forever. This is also very well. Let's Real Madrid. Look, I want to thank everyone who has tuned into the show today. This is going to take you through to Hassam's channel where he is now live. So go and check that out, people. We're back live after Arsenal and Chelsea's games this afternoon. So all of you get back here at full time. V, Steve, and of course, Judge Mo, thank you all very much for coming on and having your say. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And I'll see you all again soon. Peace.